Welcome to Jets This Week. I'm Gary Lawless of the Winnipeg Free Press, and this is my colleague Ed Tait. We are having a hair-growing competition on film, as you can see right now.
Eddie, nice start.
Big game tonight. The Winnipeg Jets hosting the St. Louis Blues, and really, Captain Obvious, they're all big right now. The Jets have 12 games to go. They're in the playoffs as of this morning. They have the last wild card spot, and as expected, the Los Angeles Kings have moved up and have now taken one of the spots in the Pacific Division. The Calgary Flames are out of the playoff picture, and it's beginning to look more and more like this is going to be a battle between two Canadian cities, maybe three. The Vancouver Canucks might play a role in this right now. They hold the second spot in the Pacific, but I think it's going to be Winnipeg and Calgary slugging this out, and they meet each other the last day of the season right here in Winnipeg. That game could be for all the marks.
I think this is going to go right down to the wire, as you said, Gary, and I think that it could involve all those teams still. I think it's like a four-horse race here. It's going to be riveting. You know, as much as we say there's only 12 games or 11 games left, that's still a lot of hockey. And, you know, we talk about teams in 10-game chunks, whether you go 6-3-1 or 8-2. However you got to do it, you got to pile up points. I think the ultimate is the Jets have got to get to about 96 points. And even that's not a guarantee the way everybody's playing right now. It's going to be a great race to the end. Really fun to watch, and great that some of these games, Winnipeg and Vancouver, Winnipeg versus Calgary, are going to be head-to-head.
The Blues tonight, the last time the Jets played the Blues, we all remember this. It was a 5-4 loss. The Jets were down 3-0, came back and tied it up at 4-4 late in the game, and then Barrett Jackman fires a shot from just inside the red line that inexplicably beats Ondre Pavelec. Ondre Pavelec told us a couple days later in Fort Lauderdale, or the next morning actually, that he lost it in the stands, lost it in the crowd. So, you know, that cost the Jets probably a point, maybe two, if they hadn't been able to win the game in overtime or the shootout. We're going to find out in a little while who's in net tonight, whether it's Pavelec or Hutchinson. But do you think this game preys on the minds, that game preys on the minds of all the Jets tonight?
Well, you know, I think you have to move on from that, right? I think it might have leaked into that game against Florida, the right after St. Louis. I didn't think they played very good, but they seemed to have put it out of sight, out of mind after that. The win over Tampa and the win here the other night against San Jose. More importantly, Ondre Pavelec's put it out of mind. You know, except for that whiff on the Jackman goal, he was pretty good in relief in that game. Very solid in the win over Tampa. Very solid against San Jose. I think the Jets are playing better around him. They're playing a better defensive structure. But for all the criticism we heap on Ondre Pavelec, it's time for a slap on the back for this guy, because he's regained his game a little bit at a critical time for this team. They needed somebody to step up in net and win him a game, and he's been okay, he's been good, he's been solid, all those things, and I think that's what this team has needed, and credit to him, because you know, since year one, it seems like every game an Ondre Pavelec's played has been like a referendum on his career, right? He's terrible, he's great, he's terrible, he's just okay. Well, what a story it would be if he could lead this team into the playoffs right now.
You know, this reminds me, and you covered the Bombers and CFL beat so well for such a long time, so well that you're in the Football Hall of Fame here in Canada, that the most popular athlete in a Canadian town is always the backup quarterback, right, or the backup goalie. It's yep. You know, Michael Hutchinson reminded me of Kahari Jones during the Kerwin Bell era. Everyone was clamoring for Kahari, and then now he did take them to a Grey Cup. So right. The fans were right on that one. But, you know, a lot of people wanted Ondre Pavelec bought out last summer, and those same people are now saying, run him to the end. I happen to think it's not about the goalies. It's about the way the Jets are playing in front of the goalies, and I wouldn't run Ondre Pavelec too long. Matter of fact, I'd have Hutchinson in net for this game against the Blues, because I think you need both guys. They're both better when they're rested. We know that about Pavelec now. So I'd be rotating them at this stage, and if you get in the playoffs, worry about that then. Just get there first and then determine if you're going to have a number one or not at that point. Maybe they flip-flop in the playoffs too if they get there.
Well, you know, I'd like to look at the numbers. I haven't had a chance to look them up yet, but I think a lot of people have said that when Paul Maurice was rotating them, that the numbers were better. And we saw that when he handed the reins to Michael Hutchinson after the All-Star break, he was winning games, but his save percentage was dipping. And so maybe you're onto something, Gary. I would start Pavelec tonight, but if you want to keep Michael Hutchinson engaged, then maybe you give him the start, and then Pavelec's mad, why didn't I start? And then he gets to start on Saturday against Washington. Maybe that's the kind of battle or feud between these two that fuels them and gets better play for the Jets. Number one for me, though, is the defensive play around them. They've also cut down on their penalties, some of the dumb ones they were taking, the stick infractions in the offensive zone. They're playing better hockey right now, and that's part of the reason they're back in the discussion.
Great stuff. Ed Tait, Gary Lawless, Jets this week. Thank you.